folks, sorry about the noise. Thanks for joining me. We are outside the Tsawwassen Mills Mall in Tsawwassen, BC. We just used FSD to get us from Anacortes, Washington through Skagit and Whatcom County up into British Columbia. So join us on this drive. We've got FSD, we've got charging, and we've got some cool road trip stuff. Thank you so much and have a great day. I'll catch you on the flip side. Alright, hey America! Thanks for joining me. Not just America, everybody. We, as promised, are on our way up to Point Roberts, Washington, which is a Penn exclave of Washington State. It's about 25 miles we got to travel through Canada. So we're going to head up to the Blaine border crossing. I would love it if you join us. We're going to hit multiple chargers, both in the United States and Canada. We're going to hit the northernmost continental charger, which is in Blaine, Washington. And then we're going to hit up the southernmost Canadian charger, or one of the southernmost Canadian chargers, in Tsawwassen, on the Tsawwassen Peninsula. So just love it if you join us. We'll be doing FSD drive as we head out, and I will bring you clips of that trip. It's not going to be all FSD all the time. It's going to be a bit of a road trip video with segments of FSD and some beautiful scenery and beautiful charging. So have a great day, and we'll just see you as we travel down the road. Hey, look at that. We've got a Chevy Bolt in front of us already. So EV revolution rocks. We haven't even made it out of our community. So heading down the road, we'll bring you the next thing, probably be the on-ramp onto I-5. I want to show you how AutoPilot handles I-5 on-ramps before we get version 11 in the single stack. AutoPilot's still a little bit cheesy making merges, and so I'll bring you that next. And hey folks, thanks for rejoining us. I guess I gotta quit saying that because you're gonna be popping in and out for this whole trip. We are heading down State Route 20 towards Burlington. Full self-driving has been engaged. My wife isn't as much of a user, so she takes it in and out, but so far so good. We'll bring you the Highway Interstate 5 merge here in just about 5 or 10 minutes, but I thought I'd bring you a little bit of the road. It's just a beautiful trip. So we've got 46 miles to go to get to Blaine, and we are already pre-charging or pre-conditioning our battery, so it was definitely a little chilly this morning. So we'll check back in when we get to I-5. Alright folks, we are approaching I-5 North. The car is in full self-driving, and we are going to let it attempt to get us onto the interstate. The reason why I say attempt is because once it hits the merge or the on-ramp, it will transition to AutoPilot, which is heuristic or code-based, and it's not so great. It does okay, but it's not awesome at merging. So that's one of the reasons we're excited to get version 11, which is supposed to be hopefully next week. And version 11 will give us a single stack, and we will have neural nets on the freeway. And the release notes I've seen are very, very impressive. Right. Would you mind sliding the screen over for us, then? Oh, you're so wonderful, thank you. Very good. Sorry for the camera work here, I'm free-handing it, so. And don't be surprised if my wife intervenes on this merge, because it can be a little bit, it's just awkward. You're gonna see what I mean by awkward, but we don't want to get rear-ended, and I don't want her to feel uncomfortable, so just bear with us.
Now turn right to take the Interstate 5 North ramp.
Okay. And the car's beginning its merge, making its turn, and yielding way too much. Woo, sun's right in our eyes. Oh boy, that's going to dazzle the cameras. Okay, so far so good. Slowing down a little more than it needs to. Not a ton of traffic coming from behind us, so it should be all right. But see, it's very awkward, and slow to transition, right? I mean, it should be on the throttle, and it's going to use every bit of this on-ramp when it could get over. No blinker, no blinker, still no blinker. Again, this is AutoPilot. And still no blinker, and now we're merged. So very awkward, weird, and again, cannot wait to get version 11 and get rid of autopilot for freeways. So there you have it. Awkward merge, but successful. So now we're on our way to the Blaine Supercharger. We'll check back in about 20 minutes, unless we see something exciting. America. It's our giant Burlington flag. You gotta love it. Right, and we are on I-5, heading to our destination. Autopilot is engaged. It's performing a successful lane change for us. And love the Rainbow Road. All right, folks, hang tight. Next place we'll be with you is the Supercharger in Blaine, northernmost in the continental United States, at least as near as I can tell. And then we'll head up to the border and we will bring you how FSD does when we cross into Canada. Should work just fine. And some chargers up in Canada, which they have a much better infrastructure. So yeah, this is a charging road trip and FSD video, and I appreciate you joining me. All right, hey folks, you're joining us as we're about to go around Lake Whatcom in Whatcom County. Then we will also have Lake Padden off to our left. The reason I'm bringing you this is because Out of Spec, which is a great YouTube channel, if you haven't checked it out, Kyle Connor, Out of Spec Studios, they do what's known as their Hogback Challenge, and I like to think that this is somewhat comparable. It is very windy and not necessarily narrow, but a lot of twists and turns, just like their Hogsback Challenge. And so I thought I'd bring it to you as the car is an autopilot and we navigate through here. It does a great job taking me to work every day. And as you can see, very, very confidently handling all of these corners. So yeah, very nicely done. Autopilot is very, very good, although I have heard Mercedes is getting better. In fact, I've heard that their Hogback Challenge with the latest Mercedes beat Tesla, and that's okay. Autopilot's going to go away and it's going to be full self-driving pretty quick, all neural net based. Now we've got a Tesla up here in front of us. Sorry, it's a little bit angled. Another wide sweeping curve. Autopilot is handling it at speed, no problem. And we've got a lovely person camping out in the left lane up here, preventing us from going any faster. All right, good drive, little mix of full self-driving, little mix of autopilot. Here we're on Interstate 5 North, headed up to the Blaine Supercharger. And look at that, there's one of our brethren in a beautiful Model 3. Can't beat those prices now, folks. Got to be out shopping for one. And approach another long sweeping curve, no problem. Amos is very confident. Beautiful Tesla right there. Hi. Right. Beautiful drive through here. All the evergreens. Cannot beat it. The Evergreen State, that's what we're known as, and you can see why, folks. You can see why. It's winter time and it's still green and beautiful in here in Washington. All right, we are just about through all of the curves and we're going to be entering Bellingham. And the first place we hit in Bellingham is Fairhaven. And you guys are familiar with Fairhaven from some of my earlier videos. Check those out. I did a drive here just recently from my work through downtown Bellingham into Fairhaven to a beautiful little marine park. All right, folks. Things are settling out. Amos did wonderful through there. You could argue the Hogsback is a little more challenging, but again, I think there's lots of good curves, narrow for an interstate, and yeah. So join us again as we head up to Blaine, and we will do a little full self-driving into the Supercharger. All right, we are approaching our Blaine Supercharger. We actually had to intervene.
Left onto Birch Bay Linden Road.
We actually had to intervene to get it onto this off-ramp. It didn't want to take this off-ramp, so an intervention, and then we reinitiated. So we're going to be taking a left-hand turn here. Four-way stop. No, go ahead. The car was being polite, and that lady was being polite. And, yeah. One of the problems with FSD, right, is it follows the rules of Tesla so closely that when you have polite drivers in the Northwest, they get a little confused because they wave you on and then the car doesn't know, and etc. So FSD is guiding us to our supercharger. Should be an interesting...
In 500 feet, turn right onto Portal Way.
Should be an interesting trip. Again, it's kind of a charging desert between Whatcom and Skagit County.
Now
There
right
are
onto
superchargers, and there's a couple Electrify Americas, but not a whole lot. There we go. Beautiful Mercedes and Tesla. Again,
now turn right onto Birch Bay Square Street.
Amos is navigating us into the parking lot to our supercharger. There we go. And we successfully made it to the parking lot. My wife intervened. All right.
Now your destination is
So
on the
we're going to get a
left.
charge, and we'll check back in just a minute. All right. Hey, folks. Thanks for joining us. We are at the Blaine V2 version 2 supercharger. This one is really nice. It's handy. It's the last supercharger before you cross the Canadian border at the Blaine border crossing. And it is, I think, the northernmost in the continental United States. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the northernmost. Again, it's a version 2. How can you tell? Well, you got big, thick cables, and they're lettered 5A, 5B, 6A, 6B. So they are a split setup. And as you can see, we've got some great stuff. We've got a grocery store, the market. We've got a coffee shop here. There is a Jack in the Box right off to the way over here, and then a wonderful restaurant that's kind of local to us, which is Bob's Burger and Brew. So overall, this is a pretty nice supercharger. Not the fastest, but as you can see, it's not super packed, and it's really your last bet before you cross into Canada and Washington State. So thank you, and we'll join us again as we head across the border. We'll be using FSD in Canada, and we're going to be stopping at some different chargers once we get across the border. So thanks, and have a great day. All right, hey, we successfully got all juiced up at the V2 14 stall version 2 supercharger here in Blaine. Again, I'm pretty sure it's the northernmost in the continental US, but correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. And now we're going to be heading up to a BC Hydro DC fast charger. They're putting them in at gas stations across Canada, and I want to see what they look like. I'll bring that to you, and we're going to do it using FSD. So full self-driving is engaged, and we're going to see how, again, we do getting onto I-5 and merging. And then, yeah, my beautiful wife is our camera person, so again, bear with us, we're freehanding the camera. So very good, waiting our turn at the left. Cool supercharger. We were in and out of there in about 12 13 minutes, so very, very fast. All right, here we go. Car is initiating its turn. Very well done. And we're gonna roll up here and have to make another left-hand turn onto I-5 north. So bear with us. Car's doing a great job so far. We'll dial our speed down just a hair. Very good. We've got a four-way stop and then a left. We'll see how the car merges, and then we'll come back and visit with you as we approach the Canadian border. All right, good job stopping. And I like it, lets us know it's waiting our turn. So after this Golf GTI, little hot hatch, we should be able to go. Good. Very well executed left turn. Speed at 80, I like that. And good, accelerating into these corners. And remember, folks, we are going to have AutoPilot take over here in any second. Car speeding up. Blinker on this time as opposed to last time, so that's a good thing. And again, it's using every bit of this lane. And we made it, folks. We made it successfully into the interstate. So hey, join us again as we get up to the border, and we'll see you there. All right, folks, we are a little more than, or a little less than a mile away from the Blaine border crossing, and so FSD is going to navigate us up to it. and I thought I would bring you that. Again, we haven't been up to Canada in, boy, almost probably 15 years. I haven't been up there in almost 20, and my wife hasn't been up there in probably 15. So our daughter's never been, so this should be a fun trip, and we're going to kind of let you know how to do it, because again, maybe you haven't crossed the border in a while either, and so we're going to hopefully help you with some of your trepidations. So we've got it approaching up here. We've brought our enhanced driver's licenses, our daughter's birth certificate, and proof of vaccination, although I don't think we need it because we're not dogs and we don't have rabies, but you know, COVID-19 and all. So we're going to find out. Car's cruising up here nice and slow. Passenger vehicle lane is where it's going. That seems appropriate. Got a Tesla behind us. See you later, Tesla. Nano 1. Very cool. All right. Can you lift that up a little bit so they can see the road, babe? Thank you. We're going to up our speed just a touch here. All the wonderful duty-free shops, and here comes the border crossing, folks, and I don't think they're going to want to be on camera, so we are going to go ahead and cut the feed, but as soon as we get across the border, we'll kick it back on, and we'll see if there's any kind of things that pop up because we've changed countries with FSD. Here's our beautiful Blaine border crossing. See, we've got truck staging out there, and then up ahead of us is the actual border patrol, where we're going to get checked and hopefully not inspected, but they can if they want. I don't got nothing, and we went through the car. Remember, folks, you cannot bring firearms up into Canada unless they're in a locked, secured case with the ammunition separated. So I don't have any firearms in the car. Made sure those were out. Don't have pepper spray, mace, anything like that. Obviously no cannabis or other illegal or illicit products. You want to come up here not riding dirty. So went through the car, made sure we didn't have anything that could get us in trouble, both going across and coming back. And now we're just waiting our turn. So this is the Blaine border crossing. And if you can see, we got somebody from Tejas in front of us. So all types come through here. All right, we'll bring you some FSD once we get across. All right, hey folks, they let us in. So we are officially in British Columbia, Canada. We are in Surrey, BC, and we are heading up to the BC Hydro charging station. It's about, a little less than 5 miles from here. And full self-driving kicked on immediately, no warnings, no reminders. Obviously it's turned on in all of North America, but you know, I wasn't sure. So got across the border with no problem. One weird question, I guess it's not weird, but they asked me if I own any firearms in the United States, which yes, I do. But I initially answered no, because I thought, well, are they asking me if I'm bringing any up here? But anyway, I got through all that. They will ask you if you own firearms. If you got tobacco or alcohol, just say no, because you shouldn't have any unless you have declared it already, and you're good. Nice straight shot up across the border. Literally, I think we have a left-hand turn in about a little less than 2 miles, and then we're at our charger. So very cool, beautiful place, and we'll bring you some more of the sights as we get there. Well, right here out at my left is a big giant greenhouse, and I am not sure what they're growing, but it is enormous. Look at the size, maybe cannabis, I don't know. Big greenhouse right across the border. Very, very nice visuals coming from full self-driving, and yeah, we're just rolling. This is great. I love Canada. So thanks for joining me, and we'll bring you some more as we get closer to our turns. Oh, actually, we got a turn coming up, so why don't we just hang out? We're going to be making, looks like a left up here at the light, so we'll just let full self-driving do its thing, and you can ride along. Again, the car's never been to Canada before, so we're going to see how it does. Oh, we got to go up another half mile for our turn, so I will bring you that once we get to it. Car's stopping at a stoplight very nicely. No issues at all. All right, folks, as promised, we are approaching in about a quarter mile a left-hand turn. I don't know what kind of turn it is. Unprotected, light-controlled, four-way stop, but we're going to find out together. Tesla. And I bet you I have counted at least 25 to 30 electric cars since we left home, and about 2/3 of those are probably been Teslas. So, okay, here we go. Ooh, interesting. Flashing green. For flashing green stop for the left. Interesting. I haven't seen one of these before. Wow, car's doing really well. No problem. Beautiful left turn. And there you go. Sorry again about the camera work. We're freehanding it. And we'll check you when we get to the charger. Hey folks, again, just in case you don't know, I had to switch to kilometers an hour. So if you go to display, you can change it miles, kilometers. So I changed it to kilometers, and then you can actually see it puts it in kilometers an hour, but it also tells you your speed in miles per hour as well. So I might just leave it like this because you get a couple extra miles per hour in full self-driving on I-5 because it lets you go up on a higher speed with the kilometers per hour. Okay, we're approaching a stop, so let's see how the car manages this. It's an all-way stop. Another Tesla. Beautiful, beautiful wrap. Good, nice stop, and we rolled through with no issue. Car's going kind of weird because it's a really wide lane, but yeah, again, no problem. So we got a couple kilometers, and then we're going to get at the charger, and we'll check you there. All right, again, I'm just bringing you some more FSD footage as we roll through the back roads of British Columbia and Surrey. Car's doing wonderfully well. Hopefully my microphone is picking up my sound okay and it's not all scratchy. It probably is. Oop. Okay, a little weird. We're coming into a bit of a city center now. And we've got a stoplight and a right-hand turn. So let's see how the car does. So far, so good. Yeah, very nicely done. Not quite sure. Oh, because it doesn't need to make its turn yet. We're going to come up here, and it looks like we're going to make a turn into a superstore, Canadian Tire or something. We've got a Walmart up here on the left, and the car's going to make its turn here in 100 meters or 300 feet right here. Right-hand turn. No problem. It was a little worried about that Nissan Leaf, but it made it, and very cool. I'm going to take over. Hey there, folks. You are joining me at a BC Hydro DC fast charging station here at a Shoppers Drug, and there is a real Canadian superstore over there. These are 50 kilowatt DC fast chargers. They've got both CHAdeMO and CCS1, and there's two of them here. And the beautiful thing about British Columbia and Canada in general is they have really wonderful charging infrastructure. Literally, as soon as you get across the border, Amos here is able to charge just about anywhere. We're not going to take up these spots, but I thought I'd just share with you some of the great infrastructure up here. We can see we've got a beautiful Mustang Mach-E charging and a Kia Soul, and then another lovely Tesla Model Y here at another cool BC Hydro charging station. So thanks for joining us. We're going to go to the Tsawwassen Mills Mall, and we're going to check out the supercharger there next. Thanks for joining me.
It was amazing.
All right. Hey, folks. We did not charge at the BC Hydro station, but we are now headed to the Tsawwassen Mills Mall and the Tsawwassen Supercharger. So that is approximately 27 minutes away, and we should get there in about, a little less than half an hour. So thank you for joining us. Cars have been in FSD now up north and not having any problems. And that's my daughter trying to open a candy bar in the back seat.
Actually, a toy.
Oh, it's her toy. She got a original Canadian Kinder Egg, and she was extremely excited about it. Said it was the most delicious Kinder Egg she's ever tried. All right, we got a left-hand turn coming up here in just about a kilometer. And some weird Canadian road markings. I don't really know what this stuff's all about, so we're just going to go with it. Ooh, another Tesla. No, it's going to stop. Good job, Amos. Good, we got a green. Very nicely done. 800 meters, we have to make a left-hand turn, so I'm hoping the car is going to
Look at these houses.
figure that out.
Have like 6 feet in between them. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're pretty close. All right, we've got an opening. Amos should be signaling to get over. I'm forcing it and I'm stopping. So he was not paying attention. Navigation's not so hot. So anyway, we'll re-engage. It'll let us re-engage once we start. And off we go. FSD re-engaged. So that was an intervention. Wasn't going to follow its navigation or get into the lane it wanted to. And I think it was a little confused by the road rules up here because I asked it to make a lane change and it kind of refused. So, all right. So left-hand turn, Canadian left-hand turn. No different than an American left-hand turn. Should be easy for the car to do. Nicely done. Got in the lane just like it should. Blinker on. Now it's going to wait its turn. All right, so far so good. Roads aren't too much different up here. I didn't expect them to be, but you know, everybody's got a little bit different way of doing things, and it's a different country, so want to be prepared for the unknown. Like I said, I haven't been up here in probably 20 years, and so far it's been wonderful. Went to the real Canadian superstore, big, beautiful grocery store. Went into a great drugstore. Awesome, lots of makeup and cool stuff, and checked out the BC Hydro chargers, and now we're heading to Tsawwassen. Going to be making a left-hand turn here. Yep, I know, car. And I intervened because it was asking for me to twist the wheel, and I twisted it too hard. All right, re-engaged, and off we go. All right, folks, I'll bring you some more clips as we get closer, and if anything interesting happens. Thanks for joining us. All right, folks, we are going to be merging onto 99 North. Let's see how Amos manages. This person tried to cut us off a little bit, but no problem. Okay, so we're in our correct lane. Be nice if we had a blinker. We're braking for a yield sign, checking. Okay, that's appropriate. There's some traffic coming, so the car is going to have to yield. And I took over because it was starting to creep too far in. We're going to wait our turn. So there you go. That wasn't the best, and I don't know if that was FSD or AutoPilot. Now we can take our turn. We'll go ahead and re-engage, and we'll see how the car does getting on the freeway. This is, again, Canadian North 99, our I-5, essentially. Little road construction that's approaching. Car gave us a little warning. So far, so good. Keeping up with the traffic. Lots of construction up here, so the car is going to have to manage that. Not a lot of traffic, though, so we should be merging. Come on, merge. Merge. All right, that was not real elegant, but it managed. Okay, so let's see what happens up here. We've got some weird stuff going on, and then we'll check you back once we get to Tsawwassen. So you can see we've got road construction. The car's managing it pretty well. This is AutoPilot again. AutoPilot in British Columbia. Narrow road, but we're managing. And then we've got a little squirrely do here, but AutoPilot doesn't seem to be minding. You can see the cones and whatnot, but nothing too major. Didn't try and dive off to that on-ramp or off-ramp like it has in the past. Very good. So now we're just accelerating up to the speed we need to go, and we've got about 15 kilometers to go. So thank you, folks. We'll check you when we are getting off of Canadian North 99. Just a quick kind of interesting thing to note here, folks. Evidently in Canada, the HOV lane and bus lane is the right-hand most lane right there, not the left-hand most like in the United States. So the more you know. I just found that out. And again, there we've got our kilometers an hour set. And we're rolling our FSD auto. Well, this is actually AutoPilot again. Wish it would have initiated a lane change to pass, but that's what we got blinkers for. So look at this, and we've got a EQS 580. Yeah, okay. Pretty car. And electric, I do believe. All right, folks. We'll check you back in a little bit. Rolling through British Columbia on 99 with no problems. Amos is handling this in AutoPilot like a champ. All right, hey folks, we are exiting Canadian North 99, and our exit here is about 300 meters or so, so about 1,200 feet. And we're gonna see what we got coming up. Looks like we got a right-hand turn towards Tsawwassen, and we're gonna be merging onto 17 West. So good use of a signal from AutoPilot. Again, this is AutoPilot, so it's all code-based. And we're getting some footage of it before we switch to version 11 and single stack artificial intelligence. Car's slowing down more than it needs to. I'm going to give it just a little goose. And we're coming into a wide sweeping turn. No problems so far. Again, car doesn't care if it's in Washington or Canada. It's just doing great. Good, caught up here. Again, long sweeping turn and no problems. Amos managed that just fine. And we are accelerating slower than I would like, but accelerating. And our blinker is on, and the car is preparing to merge. Yay! Oh, and we merged it all the way over into the left-hand lane. Okay. That was a little weird, but whatever. So, all right, folks, we got about 8 miles to go, and we'll check in with you when we exit West 17 in Canada. Check that out, folks. We got a big, cool double-decker train off to our left, hauling all kinds of sweet supplies to Tsawwassen. Yeah, that's a really, really big train. Dang. Locked in AutoPilot, still doing great. No issues. We got about 3 kilometers to go to the Tsawwassen Mills Mall and the supercharger. And again, I believe this is the southernmost Canadian supercharger. But I could be mistaken. Let me know in the comments. All right, folks, here we are. We're 200 meters from our turn at the Tsawwassen Mills Mall. We're in the Tsawwassen First Nations Reserve. And we've got a big old Bass Pro Shops up here off to our left. Let's see how full self-driving manages this. Good use of a blinker, good turn, doesn't quite understand. I'm giving it a little encouragement through this corner. Yeah, okay, cut the lane. Probably shouldn't have done that. I had to give it a little gas pedal encouragement, but we made it. Next is gonna be a turn up here. We got a left in 300 meters. Ooh, there's a pretty purple color. Damn, that thing caught your eye. And we should be blinkering, good. And getting into our left-hand turn lane, awesome. I was a little worried that it would try and rocket up here and then force its way in like it used to. So definitely seen some improvements, again, even up here in British Columbia. Full self-driving has been working well. I'm gonna get through this left turn and then we'll pull up to the superchargers. My poor wife's shoulders are killing her. Oh, looks like we didn't make it, folks. So we're gonna wait our turn at the light and go here in just a few minutes. Oh. And we're going to stop Amos because he was creeping. All right, thanks, folks. All right, now we're making our left-hand turn. There we go. Car did very nice. Pulling up here, and then we've got a right-hand turn at this light. Good. Or left-hand turn at this light, my bad. Good blinker. Pinching its brakes. That's okay. And we are creeping forward. And hopefully we'll get to make our left-hand turn. Yep. Nope. Hit a yellow. All right. So we're going to stop here and wait for our turn, and I will bring it to you once our light turns green. All right. Here we go. Making a left into the Tsawwassen Mills Mall. Very well done. Yep. Cut the lane again, and it forgot that it needed to be in this other lane. That wasn't very nicely done. So we're going to pull up to the charger, and we'll check in with you in a minute. All right, hey, we're just going to cruise by the Tsawwassen Mills Mall and give you an idea what there all is. So as we head up to the supercharger, you can kind of get an idea. Here we've got tracker boats and Bass Pro Shops. Very cool. Big Bass Pro Shop. I didn't know they had one this size up here. Right, and then we're going to be coming up here and we're going to be taking a right. I am driving, not the car, because we're just checking out what this mall has to offer as we head to the superchargers. Oh, look at that big old Tsawwassen Mills Mall sign. And here's our superchargers. So we're gonna go ahead and pull in, we're gonna grab a charge, and I will get a little bit of video of these chargers once we're hooked up. All right, hey, welcome folks. We are at the Tsawwassen, British Columbia, Tsawwassen Mills Mall, version 2 supercharger. This is a 12 stall supercharger. Again, version 2. How do I know it's a version 2? The cables are thick and you've got 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B. If it's a version 3, the cables would be a lot thinner and it would be A, B, C, D. There's 4 per numeral, and those are not power sharing. You get the full 250 per cord, but here we're power sharing. That's why I stayed on 1A, so I get the full juice. You should skip a stall if you can at a version 2 supercharger. So again, Tsawwassen Mills Mall, we're gonna go check out the mall. Car's gonna top off, and we're just having a great trip with FSD and having fun. So thanks for joining us. We're sitting here at the Tsawwassen supercharger, and I just noticed this. Very, very cool. I hadn't seen that before. So they let you know why your session may be limited, and ours is a little bit. We're only doing about 77, but we also got a relatively high state of charge. Nice supercharger, plenty to do. We're gonna go get a bite to eat. I just thought I would bring you this little warning on the screen. I haven't seen that before. All right, and we are headed home from the mall, folks. So we are headed to Anacortes, Washington, back through the Blaine border crossing. We got kind of held up at the mall and decided that we weren't going to make it to Point Roberts. It's already almost 2 o'clock. So join us as we head on back, and we'll bring you clips of FSD as it drives us and the charging infrastructure as we see it. So we are just getting ready to take a right. And the car is thinking about it, and it's stopping, and it's going. Okay, there we go. Sorry about the camera work there. All right, we made it out. Yay! All right, we are on 17 East, headed back to Blaine. We've got full self-driving engaged. And it looks like we're gonna have about, a left-hand turn coming up here in a little bit. And we're making a lane change for speed, I guess. That was nicely done. Hopefully we don't run out of lane. Yeah, so far so good. We'll dial our speed back down because we got to merge here. Yeah, and the car hit the brakes pretty hard because it didn't want to get past that blue car. So FSD again needs to work on its comfort and kind of thinking about what it's doing. Beautiful shot of the mountains in front of us. Man, I wish you all could see that nice and clear. It is absolutely stunning. Yeah, got a little bit of traffic, but we are rolling along just fine. All right, folks, we'll check back in with you in a little bit, and just have a wonderful day. All right, we're still rolling on 17, but as we came through here, headed to the mall, we saw just a bunch of bald eagles, probably about a dozen bald eagles and their nests. So as you're cruising through here, I don't know what overpass this is, I'm terrible at this. But this is a nice area where there's a lot of bald eagles hanging out. And again, AutoPilot is just solid cruising and taking us home. And look at those mountains, folks. I don't know if you can see them, but it is just gorgeous here. Can't suggest this area enough. Beautiful, beautiful place to live and visit. So we're just rolling on AutoPilot, going touch under 60 miles an hour on 17 East in Surrey, BC, British Columbia. The Tsawwassen Mills Mall is rad. I did not know how big or how nice it was, and we are going to be spending some more time there. You see an eagle?
Yeah, big one just sitting in the track.
Oh man, all right, so we're on an eagle lookout here as we cruise in the rain with FSD. Actually, AutoPilot. Oh man, the mountains are just, I cannot get over those mountains, just gorgeous. And I bet you we've seen close to 60 Teslas so far today. There is just a ton of them. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Sorry if it's a little rough. Oop, got some popos around.
Up there on the side, there's some people sitting.
Maybe radar for the railroad. Oop, all right, and we're getting into our lane. Good job, AutoPilot. AutoPilot made the correct lane change for us to exit to the U.S. border.
They're all over on that.
Oh yeah, there's a bald eagle right there on the line. Very cool.
There.
And there's a whole bunch off to my left out my window. You can see the nest, and you can see all the eagles in the trees there. There's tons of them there, probably over a dozen.
Over a dozen, easy.
Wow, very cool. And that was right at exit 13 off of 17, folks. Exit 13. And AutoPilot took that beautifully. And we need to be taking this exit next. Managed it very well. Great. Ooh, we're coming in a little hot. Oh man, AutoPilot's doing fantastic through here. So this is nice to see before we get full self-driving version 11 and the full stack on the freeways. So now we're accelerating up to a highway speeds and should be making our merge. Yeah, nicely done, AutoPilot. Oop. Wavered into the lane just a little bit, and I'm sure upset the person behind next to me, but we're okay now. Get over. All right, and we're making a speed-based lane change and picking up our speed. There we go. All right, folks, we'll check back in you when we get closer to the border. All right, folks, we've got some road construction here, and so far the car is behaving just fine, not being bothered by these road cones, and AutoPilot's actually doing a pretty good job moving in and out of lanes based on its passing speed. I'm actually pretty surprised by that. So we are cruising. Again, I'm sorry for the camera work. I'm doing as best I can. Between me and the wife and the moving car, it's a little bit shaky, but you know, we're doing the best we can. Yeah, AutoPilot's just been rock solid. And we've got some more road construction approaching up here, or at least barriers or cones. And the car doesn't seem to be bothered at all by any of it. It just seems to roll on through. Well, let's see if it changes into the right lane. It really should. I'll initiate a lane change for it. And there we go. Nicely done. That is a great feature you get with enhanced AutoPilot. You pay $6,000 and you get automatic lane changes, which sounds kind of expensive, but if you commute a lot, auto lane changes are wonderful. They make life so much better. Tons of Teslas. Just kept passing them and passing them and passing them. All right, folks, we'll check back in again once we get closer to the border. Again, I don't want this video to be an hour and a half long, so I'm bringing you segments of the drive that I think are interesting, and those bald eagles we just passed were amazing. All right, folks, we are approaching some road construction, so let's see how AutoPilot manages. It might be a little bit rough. We're going to find out here. So far, so good. Okay, car is going to... Nope, wasn't not going to miss those cones, so I had to take over. Lovely, lovely AutoPilot. So again, cannot wait for full self-driving so it doesn't try and do stuff like that. Because it was trying to get into the lane. And it's, yep, I took over again, because again, it was trying to pull us over too far. So cannot wait for version 11. Road construction's still an issue on interstates with AutoPilot, unfortunately. So there you have it. We're trying to bring you everything that we can, and road construction still gives it a bit of a fit. All right. right, and we are approaching the Canadian border. So we are going to be getting on Interstate 5 south into Washington State here in just about, less than 2 miles. So AutoPilot's been doing pretty well, although it's acted a little bizarre. It did a phantom braking off camera that I didn't catch, and a lane swerve for a merge. It was really kind of crappy, but you know, can do the best we can to catch what we can. And now we're rolling up to the Canadian border, so I will check with you once we get across. And there's our beautiful view as we wait in line here for our turn to prove we're American citizens. So great trip, no issues, having lots of fun. I hope you enjoy this stuff. Let me know what I can do to make it better in the comments. Really, really cool graphics. All right. So our border, the 49th parallel with Canada, at least here in Blaine, Washington, has what's known as Peace Arch Park. And we are right next to it, right here. So a very cool place where you can get out, stretch your legs at the border and kind of commemorate the history of the Canadian border and US, the 49th parallel. We'll see the Peace Arch when we get up over this hill. We're still sitting here. Expect border waits of between 10 to 30 minutes. It's always harder to get back into the US. Well, that was interesting. We've actually been sitting here so long, the car put itself in park. I've never had that happen before. So if you sit long enough without moving, the car will eventually automatically put itself in park, which is interesting, but also a little bit sad because that means we've been here a long time. So hopefully traffic starts moving soon. And there it is, folks, the beautiful Blaine Peace Arch. And that is in commemoration of the Oregon Treaty and the 49th parallel, which established the border with Canada. So we are still waiting. You can see there is a sea of cars, but hopefully we are in the next batch to get through. So have patience. We will get there, and let's just take a quick look at our FSD visuals. Very cool. Hey folks, so been waiting about a half an hour. We're finally through the light and we are in line to get through the border crossing. So again, be prepared heading back into the US to wait a while. So the Border Patrol is doing a little inspections and it's showing up on Tesla Vision, and I thought that was kind of funny. So it's a top-down view and now it's adjusted because I moved a little bit. So Tesla Vision versus what I can see, Tesla Vision. Very cool. So here's a couple neat things. You can see there the occupancy network is trying to show that bollard, and it can't quite label it, and it's kind of flitting in and out of the screen. So I thought that was kind of neat. And then you can also see some of the other occupancy network stuff. And if you can pick that up on the frame, there's a really cool piece of art just outside the border. It kind of looks like static all around, and in the middle it's clear. It's really, really cool. So anyway, almost through. All right, folks, we made it back to the United States of America. They didn't inspect us, they didn't pull us over, and no reason for them to. So we are headed home on Interstate 5. Got this lovely Canadian here hogging the left-hand lane. So I'll check in with you in a little bit and just have a wonderful day. So that is where the Tesla supercharger we stopped at to begin with was at. Birch Bay Village. So look what we found here. So there are a couple level 2 chargers here at the rest area heading north into Canada as part of the West Coast Green Highway. I had no idea these were here, so very cool. 2 of them, and they both look like they're working, and they both look like they're free. So very, very cool. All right, hey folks, you join us as we're going around Lake Whatcom, southbound I-5 now. Got a nice bit of rain, and again, it's a good challenge for AutoPilot. A lot of twists and turns, and a lot of jokers. There are so many lazy drivers on I-5 that it's not even funny. You can kind of see it as we're sitting here. My wife's trying to jockey around because everybody just camps in the left-hand lane. But full self, or not full self-driving, but AutoPilot seems to be doing just fine. And we're going to be heading into Burlington, getting off onto Highway 20 here in about 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah, that's frustrating. Can you get over?
That guy's just fucking flashing his brights.
Well, he should be. I go insane. They're just so lazy to camp in that left-hand lane. All right. And we're passing Lake Whatcom right here off to my right. Nice, big, beautiful lake. Sorry the trees are in the way. And here we are trying to work our way through traffic. Pretty good mist being thrown up. Full self or autopilot's not having any seeming issues other than just the lamos in the lanes up here that won't get over. All right, we'll be in Burlington in about 10 minutes. I'm sure you're holding your breath waiting for us to get there. All right, we are approaching Burlington State Route 20 and our exit. So I just wanted to welcome you back. Ooh, that trailer there in front of us getting a little wiggly. So we are still on autopilot. We're going to transition away from autopilot into full self-driving as we take our exit, and then we'll have a left-hand turn. Appreciate everybody that joined me. Hopefully you found some entertainment or information valuable in this video. Again, I'm just doing these for fun. Sometimes I worry that they're not as good as they could be, but I'm trying. So hopefully you appreciate it. Come along, just have a good time. All right, let's see how Amos manages. Blinker on, good. Taking its exit as it should.
Now take exit 230 on the right.
And full self-driving is going to reinitialize right there. Now we're back on full self-driving. So let's see how we manage to get off of our exit. Very nicely done, Amos. And
in 1,000 feet, turn left onto State Route 20.
Should transition us into the left-hand turn lane. Good blinker. Oh, I guess I decided I didn't want to blinker. Oh, and we're coming up as we have a green left-hand turn arrow. So hopefully the car does this just fine, nice and smooth, like a regular driver
now
would.
Turn left onto State Route 20.
Maybe a little slower. Oh, good. Accelerated to meet the yellow. Nicely done, car. And we made it. So successful left-hand turn through a yellow light. Great job, Amos. We'll cruise down Highway 20 and head on home. All right, we are heading over the Twin Bridges past our beautiful casino, making all kinds of noise for you. Still rolling full self-driving. Kind of crappy weather, but no real issues. And this would be familiar territory for anybody that's watched my videos in the past. It's kind of my stomping grounds for FSD testing, which was not the intent of this video. This video was just more of a have a good time kind of vlog. But as we crest this hill here, we will see one of our two beautiful refineries. You can see them on the screen here. This refinery in the front is the Husky refinery, formerly Shell, formerly Texaco. And this refinery here in back is the Marathon refinery, formerly Tesoro, formerly Shell. And you can see those there as we pop over. There's the coker derrick for the refinery in the front and their wet gas scrubber. So full self-driving, just handling this like a champ. And we've just had a wonderful time visiting Canada. So we will probably be making some trips over to Banff in the near future and head over to Okanagan and Omak via the northern route, and also Vancouver. So just love it if you'd hit that subscribe. Working towards 1,000 subscribers, it's kind of my goal. And again, just trying to have fun. That's all that counts here. So if you got some suggestions for things you'd like to see, let me know. Always working on making the camera work better and the audio better, but we'll check in with you when we get into town. All right, we're rolling down Commercial Avenue, headed home. We're going to be making a left-hand turn onto 12th Street, and so let's see how full self-driving manages this
500
left-hand turn.
feet, turn left onto 12th Street.
So far, kind of goofy. Maybe good if you put your blinker on, car.
12th Street.
And good, got in the lane. A little bit hard on the brakes, so. And it should be waiting and making its turn. All right, hey, successful left, very good. So overall, this has primarily been an autopilot day, but we got a little FSD in the beginning and at the end, and in Canada. So very cool. I was quite impressed that there was really no difference, and I guess there shouldn't have been, but you know, road rules are a little different. And it was, what, about a year before they approved FSD beta up in Canada. So I was expecting maybe to see something, but we didn't. So very cool. So we're just gonna head on home. We'll check in with you as we make some of our last turns, and then obligatory water shot, but it's pretty rainy, so we may not be able to see the water. All right, we got a left-hand turn approaching, and this is on the Anacopper.
Road.
All right, little awkward there. Sorry for the camera work. Got this little tiny screen I'm looking at. Okay, car's got clearance, and it's going, it always swings a little wide weirdly here, but yeah, successful left-hand turn. All right, we are almost home. All right, and here we are, just about home. Amos in her lovely girl voice letting us know our destination will be on the right, and it's just a beautiful day. So thank you so much, folks. Appreciate everybody joining us. Have a wonderful evening.